Should we intro this thing?
Yeah. This is your.
Oh yeah. All right. This is No Singles, a podcast where we discuss albums from front to back in an attempt to promote comprehensive album listening. My name is JR.
I'm Nate.
I'm Pete.
We got Pete with us today. Is it Pete or Peter?
It felt right to say Pete this time. I usually introduce myself as Peter, but
It's
cool.
Pete today.
Pete feels right today.
Mayor Pete.
Pete, what are your bona fides, dude?
Right now, I'm playing a lot of bass. So I play bass in 3 bands: Waterfall Strainer, Idaho Green, and Pon Farr.
Cool.
But most of my musical life, I've been a singer-guitarist and played keys and written my own songs.
Cool.
What genre?
Mostly rock.
Yeah.
I definitely think of myself as a rock musician.
Cool.
Yeah.
Definitely explore a lot of different subgenres.
Sweet.
But yeah.
My first ever show in New York City was with Pete
Oh, really?
in Idaho Green. Yep. We shared a show, Sarah DeVoe,
Uh-huh.
at Arlene's.
When was this? What year was this?
Oh, man.
23.
2 years ago?
2023.
Right?
Yeah.
What was it? It was probably right before we met or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
We met at a studio party in Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I lived here for a month on the day, and then just
It was like a studio of drums at everything. He threw a party in there. He wanted live music.
Sick.
Yeah, so Nate jumped on the drums.
yeah, you're on guitar.
We were the
I
only
kinda-
people that kept playing.
I think at some point I didn't know you that well, and I was like, could you keep playing? Because you were gonna hop off guitar. And I was like, could you keep playing guitar? Because nobody else here really is that much fun to play with.
I know.
Everybody was either too drunk or there was that one bassist who just refused to do anything except for a Weezer cover.
Mm-hmm. And me and Pete used to work together at Starbucks.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
At the roastery.
Mm-hmm.
So not
In
just
Chelsea.
not just your ordinary Starbucks.
That's that swanky
not
stuff.
your grandfather's Starbucks.
It's Uncle Howie's Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Recovering Fate by Dr. Dog.
Yeah, Fate by Dr. Dog.
And
Superfuzz Bigmuff.
Mudhoney.
Yeah. Yeah, you got that electro,
EH.
that harmonic shirt on.
people at work today were like, I wore this to work, and they're like, what the hell is on your shirt? Is it a mermaid? I was like, no, keep guessing. And they had all these guesses. And I flipped the computer screen around, and it's the founder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a funny reveal.
Really?
It's the old dude.
Ish. Yeah, the closest I could get to repping today was a Nirvana hat. I don't have a Mudhoney hat.
Yeah, I kind of deliberately tried to not wear anything identifying or linking me to any musical movements.
What's your intro to Mudhoney? Pete?
Well, Mudhoney, I'm kind of lucky because I was born in 84, so I grew up I was coming of age when bands like Mudhoney were being really celebrated. I think for me, growing up in the suburbs, kind of out of the loop, I didn't start discovering those
Where are
those
you from?
records until I grew up on Long Island.
Oh, okay.
And just back then, you had maybe MTV, you had certain magazines, you had certain radio stations, but for the most part, you were kind of flying blind a little bit, unless you had an older cousin or older brother who knew, who went to rock shows and stuff like that and showed you bands. So I definitely heard Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Nirvana way before I even knew who Mudhoney was. But they were all, I'm sure, heavily influenced by Mudhoney.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird thing now when people look back on that era of Seattle rock.
Yeah.
That Mudhoney's kind of given their due. Because that really wasn't the case in the moment.
Really?
Yeah. They were never, never is a strong word, but they just weren't, if you ask someone from, to name a rock band or sing a song from that era, they'll sing you a Nirvana song, they'll sing you a Pearl Jam song. No problem. But if you say, oh, can you sing a Mudhoney song? Everyone would be like...
I never even heard of them until, Nate picked it,
Oh, until now?
Never.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were fucking awesome. They were great musicians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they were amazing live. I never got to see them live, but and everyone loved them. They were just kind of celebrated.
They still play
in the scene. Yeah, I think they're on tour, or they're playing. I saw they were playing Vancouver, maybe.
Yeah.
Dream
Cool.
They're playing BC shows.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're very of that Pacific Northwest style from the 80s and 90s. Yeah, even in like doing research for this episode too, it was like when their stuff was coming out, it got panned for the most part. And now it's on, like the list of 1001 songs or albums to listen to before you die and all that stuff. Like, it took a while to come around.
I think you could go to them now as like rock historians.
Yeah.
And they could kind of give you like a pretty good idea of what was going on in the 80s, which I think is also kind of a fun thing to think about for me, like growing up in the 90s and discovering this music early 90s, which was still, to me, it was new music. Mm-hmm. This was still, a few years after, like this record was 88. So the only record that I had in that genre was Bleach. And it's like the first time I ever heard Mudhoney, I was like, oh, that's where Kurt Cobain.
This kind of
and I remember like hearing, in the 90s, I remember hearing like people were mad at Kurt Cobain because he stole a lot of other bands, like kind of what they were up to. And I'm assuming they were probably referencing Mudhoney as one of those bands.
Yeah.
Most likely. Never really became a household name.
Yeah, Superfuzz Bigmuff was on Cobain's like list of top albums. Nirvana they were like the new kids on the block, really, when it came to the scene. And then, because then you had like, what's the prior band to Soundgarden? Mother Love Bone. And they'd been in the scene for forever. And along with like Mudhoney, and nobody really made it to the top until like Nirvana broke through, and then everybody else started to flood the market. But
I think that's probably why Mudhoney didn't break through the same way, because I think Kurt Cobain had a pop sensibility that really no one else in that music scene wanted anything to do with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a band like Mudhoney was like so raw and to the point that I think people kind of didn't get it. Everything was changing culturally in the 90s. Like you could be a punk band and it would make a lot of sense in the 80s under Reagan, but it was just culture was shifting so interestingly in the 90s. It was the beginning of like, there's no more monoculture. The subcultures are being paid attention to. And that's like kind of where things started to get really interesting. I think of that like in my mind as 90s rock, but it's all of these 90s bands that were influenced by 80s bands.
Yeah.
So it's like what I thought 1992 sounded like, I was actually listening to like what 1987 sounded like.
Yeah. Which is like always how it goes, If you're listening to somebody's sound, you're really listening to whoever was around like 10 years before them.
Exactly.
And they've just got like the newest take on it. The more polished take. Usually.
Well, that's what I think is special about Mudhoney is I don't think I think is it Mark Arm?
Yeah.
And, Steve.
Steve Turner.
So Steve Turner, I think, was saying how they identified as, he didn't say like generic punk, but he kind of like alluded to like that. I think he used the word like simple blueprint of punk. And so it's kind of funny that a band that is now hailed appropriately as essentially birthing grunge thought of themselves as a punk band.
Yeah.
That's what I love about that record. It's like very to the point.
Yeah. And they're still, unless I'm mistaken, they're still living off the money that they made from their albums and stuff. So it's like, and they're still touring. They've only had to remove one member from the band. Like they're
only one person get fired.
Yeah.
In how many years?
Only one
a
fired.
lot of these bands that we've like covered so far in here, like there's a lot of people in and out. And this is one of the few where it's pretty consistent. Yeah, Mark Arm and Steve Turner have been like they're just from the start. So they've got a pretty good through line too. I'm sure that if you like ask them, they'd be like, yeah, no regrets. I mean, also being that big kind of killed Kurt Cobain in a way. So that also could have contributed, like that.
Yeah. Well, I heard Steve Turner was saying in an interview, he was talking about, because they like entitled it "The Demise of Grunge."
Yeah.
And you just kind of come into it like mid-interview, the way they edited it. And he's just sort of like, obviously the demise of grunge was the death of Kurt Cobain. And he talked about some of the bands that came out after that were a lot like brighter and like warmer, even though they were kind of still rock bands, slightly leaning heavy.
Yeah.
And he was saying because it was just like no one wanted to be reminded of that. It was like such a bummer, so that it kind of shifted rock music.
Yeah.
And then he proudly stated, he's like, well, we stuck to our guns. Like we put out a grunge record in 1995.
I don't know how much you looked up or you did or anything, but I wrote down a ton about like the conception of the band.
Let's hear.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing.
Yeah. Mark Arm and Steve Turner formed their band Mr. Ep and the Calculations.
What a nice name.
Yeah, after their math teacher in high school.
Cool.
Yeah. And the first show that they actually played, they played like some like not real shows, like without even instruments before then. But their real show was in 1981. Uh-huh. They opened for the band Student Nurse at
Great band
Queen
name.
Anne's UTC Hall. I looked up,
Cool.
I looked up where the place was. I don't think it exists anymore, but it's in Seattle. It's on this street. There's a place called Big Mario's Pizza and a place right next door called Bad Bar, and it looks like a fucking cool place to hang out.
Get your beer, get your pizza.
Yeah.
Cool.
That bar has all these like cool like lava lamp kind of like style colors on the inside of it, and the price range is like $10 for a drink at the most.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds like our kind of place. Yeah.
I just had to note that because this place looks great.
That's right.
Student Nurse's drummer John Rubato assisted in the production of their debut EP called "Of Course I'm Happy." Why?
Why?
At Triangle Recording, which is still open.
Cool.
Most of the places that people have recorded at that we've covered are gone.
Almost always.
Almost always they're gone. This place is still open, and it's called Justice Hall now or something.
But is it still like the same owners or the same
Hall
stuff?
of Justice. I know it's like gone through like different hands and stuff, but it's still a recording studio. It's like this tiny place, like on a corner in Seattle.
Cool.
But yeah, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Death Cab, Fleet Foxes, Decemberists, Sleater Kinney, Built to Spill, Modest Mouths have all recorded there.
Oh my god, what a lineup!
They submitted their loosely using this term song. Called The Pigeon in the Fountain Bed. You can find it on YouTube. It's basically just them like talking over, like making a bunch of sound in the background and like telling a story.
Okay.
And it's like recorded in like a handheld tape recorder, and it sounds terrible. It's really bad. They submitted it to KZAM, where they were doing this thing where like if you send in a tape, we will play it. Oh, and cool. So they played it, and the DJ Stephen Rabau, sorry if I'm screwing up that name, declared them the worst band in the world.
That's so good. That's so good.
Hell yeah. That's a great way to advertise for your future show. You want to see the worst band in the world? Named by the radio host?
Yeah, named by the radio host.
Right.
Yeah. and then so they started in 78. In 84, they break up. Mr. Ep and the Calculations break up. After waning interest, got to the point that their drummer wouldn't show up to practice, despite the practice taking place in his bedroom.
He just got his room.
He just wasn't there. Yeah, he wasn't there. I think he was playing with other bands and stuff. And then they disbanded. Everybody in that group actually went out and just joined other bands in the Seattle area. One of them went to Mother Love Bone, who later became Pearl Jam, and they all like filtered out to all these like different bands. Then they started a 5-piece called Green River. They hit the scene really hard because everybody kind of knew them already. And then immediately, though, they started to falter because Turner went to college instead of going on tour with them. Mm-hmm. And so they had to get a replacement guitarist. And then their album release was delayed when they went on tour. So they had no album to promote while on tour. So eventually, that just kind of flamed out. So then Armin Turner decided to do another band together called the Throw Ups.
Nice.
And they named it that because it was going to be this like wild punk rock kind of sound that like was a little disorienting, but they almost immediately were like, we need to do something that's like more focused. And then that's when they finally did Mudhoney in 1988.
Did you get where the name comes from?
Yeah, they named themselves after a Russ Meyer film that they had never seen.
That makes sense because I hear it. I've also never seen it, but I hear it's dark.
So they form Mudhoney. They show the founder of Sub Pop a demo of one of their songs. He recommends Jack Endino as producer on the album. And Endino now runs Soundhouse in Seattle, which is like this beyond successful studio. Super fancy. And then they go in and they record Superfuzz Bigmuff in '88, in July, August, and September. And so they put out Touch Me I'm Sick in, I think, August. And then they back to back, they throw out Superfuzz Bigmuff in October. And and Touch Me I'm Sick is such a huge hit.
Yeah.
And then like right on the back of that, they put out an album. I mean, it's pretty good strategy. And Sub Pop is known for like doing a great job at like strategizing how to release stuff too. But they just like threw those out, and then that was it. Like they became Mudhoney at that point. The album name, if you want to, Superfuzz Bigmuff.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing my EH Electro Harmonics shirt.
Yeah.
So
you know more about the pedals than I do. So.
Yeah, so it's named after a Univox Superfuzz and then Electro Harmonics Bigmuff, which are two fantastic pedals.
Yeah.
I gave Mia my Bigmuff for her bass.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she used it that one time at practice and it sounded really nice.
All right.
But dude, that name kind of just rolls off the tongue, you know?
Superfuzz Bigmuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what flavor ice cream do you want? Superfuzz Bigmuff.
I never knew if they meant just the pedals or if it was like, because I know that Mudhoney is kind of like, they're very tongue-in-cheek sometimes. I was like, Bigmuff, are they trying to like, have like a sexual play on words in there, or is it?
I feel like it's literally
just the pedals.
Yeah, it's just the pedals.
Yeah.
And their sound is so obvious in the whole record.
Yeah.
It's like they're using the pedals. They have nice names.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just smash them together?
I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
It's such a cool album cover too.
Oh yeah. It's got his Mustang on there.
Yeah, it's his Mustang. It's just the two of them jamming out.
So the photographer is Charles Peterson. It's just a picture of them performing live. There was other artwork on the album, includes more photos of the band performing and then posing topless, which is funny.
Yeah, the words Mudhoney and Superfuzz Bigmuff like surrounding them on the album artwork too is very like that becomes like Scott Pilgrim kind of style. Like later on, people like started adopting that.
I was thinking like it looked like the Rubber Soul letters.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Anyways, did you have anything to add there? I know you were like writing down some notes and stuff.
Yeah, so I was just kind of thinking, because you were talking about the way that Sub Pop was like pushing bands. I was just realizing, because I hadn't really thought about it, but Sub Pop formed that year. They formed in '88.
In '88?
So that might have been like their first, like, we're going to actually be a real record label record, which is really kind of a historic moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big moment in music.
Yeah, I know that. I wonder if Mudhoney just kind of like kept them at least like getting recognition and like staying afloat. Because I know that once Nirvana hit it big, it paid out.
Yeah.
Like I've seen documentaries where they were like, we got checks in the mail that were like, oh my God, we're going to be set for a while. This actually paid off. But Mudhoney in the meantime, I think is like just keeping business going. I'm sure it's just attracting people to the label because so many of those Pacific Northwest bands signed to Sub Pop. Did you have anything else?
I mean, as far as gear goes, like I use a Bigmuff in my pedal board.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like kind of the first thing that I looked at when I was checking out the record was I was like, when was this pedal invented?
The Bigmuff?
Yeah.
It's in like the late 70s, right?
Yeah, it's like 50 years ago now, maybe 55 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I thought it was really cool for a band in the 80s to like name a pedal that had been out for like 20 years and just be like, this is our sound. Like, this in the most literal sense. I thought that was so badass. So yeah, I love a band that celebrates gear.
Always. Speaking of gear, they have some pretty cool guitars on there.
Yes.
Steve Turner's playing a circa 1971 competition Mustang, which is cool. I play a 74, so it feels good to like see that on there. And And then Mark Arm is playing a 60s Hagstrom 3 with the Filtertron neck pickup. That's like their original kind of setup, right? The two fuzzes, the two weird guitars, right? Because the Mustang was like the quote unquote like shitty Fender, you know, in that time period. Super overlooked. No one wanted to play it. It's like where you go to a pawn shop, get one for like $150.
Oh. I think to me, it's like the way I interpret it is like it's the punk rock equivalent of the phrase "a dollar and a dream." It's like this guitar and this pedal.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and then like we go for it.
Cool,
kind of thing. Yeah, that's just my interpretation. And you're saying they do a lot of tongue in cheek kind of. There's like a sense of humor to their music.
Yeah, there's some stuff I noted once we get into the songs too, where it's like they have a sense of humor. It's a dark sense of humor, but they have one.
Yeah, accidentally naming your band after a movie you've never seen that contains really contentious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like, we've never seen it, but we're gonna. Yeah, I mean, it's a great name. It's a great name for a band.
It is,
and they're more famous than the movie, anyways. You know,
that's true.
So it all worked out. Okay, so for Superfuzz Bigmuff, also, anybody looking for it on Spotify, it's only the deluxe edition, but just to cut down on time, and because we called this thing No Singles, so that because this thing like took on a life of there was the original album, 6 songs, then there was a second album where it was 6 songs plus 6 of their singles, including the B-sides, and then it took on its whole deluxe edition where they had like recordings on radio stations and stuff,
and like demos.
Yeah. We're just doing the 6 songs from the original.
Yes, the Spotify was like 2.5 hours. Did you listen to the whole thing?
I listened to everything except the demos.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was going to be too much for us to cover. We already had to like eliminate albums this year that we looked at ahead of time.
Oh man,
I was like,
so
hey,
tragic.
This thing is like 2 hours long. He's like,
You don't want to sit down and listen to 2.5 hours of solo bossa nova guitar playing? Come on.
It honestly, if he had 2 hours worth of like 6 tracks, we could just cover 6 tracks, even though the album's 2 hours long.
Correct.
I would sit down and do that, but because it's like 2 hours and like 40 songs, I'm like, I don't know if we can do this.
No, the episode would have been like 4 hours.
The episode would be too long.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to pull it off with that Paul Simon live album too. That wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Okay, first song on the album is Need.
Punk as fuck.
Yeah.
Punk as fuck. Progressively, it's from song 1 to song 6. I like everything. I like this song, but I like everything up and up and up, and then song number 6 is my favorite.
Nice. Really?
Like this
spoilers.
I know. I think it's the first time, because we're like, well, this one I don't know so much, but the next one's really good. Yeah, and then this one I'm like, it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better. What do you think of Need?
Well, I think when I first heard Need, it's way after all of the Seattle rock stuff had happened, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I think everyone who creates that style of rock like wanted to be able to sing like that. It was like one of the first singers that I heard that kind of people are still emulating today. And it's like if they're not emulating Mark Arm specifically, they're emulating someone who emulated Mark Arm. Yeah, the vocals stand out for me in Need.
Yeah, and the backup vocals too. You were
saying. And then I was like, oh shit, there's a fucking backing vocal.
Those are those like classic like kind of punk rock backing vocals where they haven't been tooled with too much. You can hear them like they're in the back of the room on like a Black Flag album or something, like rough backing vocals. It's so good.
Oh, dude, I like how they mix the sound of the drums.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about how they achieve that, but it's a nice sound.
Yeah. I like this because it's not the most polished sounding recording. It's still a really good recording.
Yeah, that's not the point though.
But it's like, but because of that, you get that kind of drum sound.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it sounds great.
That was Endino who tracked this?
Yeah.
So you can see his early brilliance.
All right, I'll go to the next one. What is the next one? It's
Chain That Door.
Chain That Door.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, what a good song.
That sudden ending is great.
If they don't have you hooked by now, like by the first song, they have you now.
That like hypnotics or like spiraling sound that they have like for the guitar riff.
Spiraling is good, yeah.
Yeah, with the tone too. It's just like
the what?
The tone on the guitar.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
Nate,
The
perfect.
fucking tone.
Oh man. Oh, and of course, what am I talking about? The drums.
Says the drummer.
I know, right? Yeah, the intro to this, those fucking crazy ass drums, dude.
And he keeps it up.
Man.
That's his drum beat for the fucking verse.
I know. You know, that's where I'm like, maybe that's why this thing's clocking in at a minute 50 because that's a lot of work.
There's so much momentum to this song.
This album, to me, it reminds me of like the rock album I wish I wrote. It's like the album I wish I was writing when I was like 13 in my parents' garage.
Dude.
Like it was like this is what I was trying to do.
There's so many little rock like slips that they have in there. Just like it's not punk. It's not like it's just like a rock, like a classic rock. Just
you're like in a mosh pit the second the song
what
starts.
the hell are they singing about?
Yeah, that was one of my notes. I was like, I close my eyes and I just see people moshing,
like
jumping up on the stage. You know.
What are they singing about?
It sounds kind of violent. It sounds like he's like telling a woman like you called me a loser and like I'm gonna kill you like because I chained that door.
Oh my god!
I don't quite know. This is one of the. This I was like sitting there like I'll look up what people's opinions are on lyrics. Nobody talks about this album online like in terms of the lyrics. I don't know if it's because they don't want to because they're kind of dark or if people just don't. But I don't know. I was able to find like discussions on the Dr. Dog album, and this has been called like one of like the greatest albums to ever be released and stuff. But nobody talks about the lyrics.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Mud Ride, dude.
Yeah.
What a great name for a song.
This is the best song name we've come across on the podcast yet. You can put Mud in front of anything and it sounds cool.
I know that's the other problem.
Where are we at?
Mud starring Matthew McConaughey, huh?
all right. Mud Ride.
Holy shit, what a good song. It's perfectly placed in the album, in my opinion.
I don't think that I would reorder anything on this album. Yeah, that slow intro into the whole thing, you know?
Feels like shit's about to go down.
And it does. Yeah, it keeps it kind of dirty. It's like creepy. And it's, I mean, the lyrics are creepy too, so it's perfect.
Oh my god. Dude, the lack of like any sort of symbol is really tasteful.
When you can avoid playing the cymbals, it's such like a great thing for the song that people usually don't pick up on. I mean, I'm a drummer and I miss it half the time.
I feel like that's a good thing though. Like I feel like the rhythm section is doing their job. If cool things are happening or aren't happening by choice and you don't notice it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that means you're doing the song justice. I think they're kind of genre jumping in this song in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
Like when it first opens up, it kind of reminds me of like 70s underground music.
Mm-hmm.
Like the psychedelia of the Velvet Underground even kind of.
Yeah.
But that was influenced by like 60s psychedelia.
Yeah.
And then they do a wah pedal.
And it's not cheesy.
And it's like, that's like 60s is all hell to me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So it's really cool to hear a band using all of their influences to make something new.
Yeah, they're using like their 60s influence to like throw in like a wah pedal or something like that. But then you've also got, because like I think the thing that progresses grunge forward is some people tapping into being like, we'll do grunge, but we'll hold like the 60s pop out, you know, and put that in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still pulling from the 60s, but they're doing a different thing that they're pulling in for their sound instead, which is just, it just shows like the influence that all the past artists have on anybody who's working on an album that you're listening to.
They're pretty damn good songwriters.
They are.
Like, these are not just some punks slapping shit together to make noise. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They understand, like, they're trying to make a certain, like, feeling, and they accomplish that through this very aggressive noise, which I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah, because then they hit that solo section.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many times I've heard a wah pedal, and it's just really cringy.
Wow,
you know?
wow.
Yeah.
But he's doing it.
Yeah.
It's a clever use of it in this song.
And they've got the quiet loud thing going before it becomes an actual thing, you know?
The test of a good band is if there's dynamics, just playing like at 11 the whole time.
There's no frame of
It's
reference to anything. Like, sneak up on your audience, you know, surprise them.
Yeah.
Make them lean in.
Does that. Yeah, Mudhoney does that for me. I'm surprised.
Right?
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say is that this is definitely a song of the perspective of a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does he say? I got a trip for 2 on a one-way ride.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
it's
dude.
Definitely a lot of crime.
Dragging him through.
There's like kidnapping, assault,
Dragging people through the mud. Like,
Yeah. You got nowhere to be, take you down to the dirt,
So-
drag you through the mud.
so when they were dubbed the worst band in the world with that pigeon fountain recording,
Yeah.
was he saying stuff like this?
So I listened to it, and because it's on like a handheld like cassette thing, if I sat and really listened to it, I could probably understand what he said. But I was
Is it
like,
more or less just like
yeah, and it's like 5.5 minutes. I'm like, I did the beginning, the middle, and the end, and I was like, okay, I get the idea. I understand why nobody liked this.
Right. I just wasn't sure if he was like saying like these serial killer lyrics.
He
to,
might have
like-
been. I mean, he really might have been. But it's just him like, yeah, and then I blah 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 blah. And they're in the back, like they aren't playing instruments. They're like slamming things into the wall and stuff. You just hear a bunch of like sound in the background.
We gotta listen to it after this. I'm really
Fucking
interested.
wild.
I think one of my favorite things also about this song is Mudhoney writing a song about mud. Like, I love a band like being self-referential.
It's like the bad company,
Bad
bad company thing.
I think they knew what they were doing. That's like my interpretation of it. And I also kind of think that the wah pedal was like half serious. Like they wanted it to sound interesting and cool for the solo, but I think there was like a part of them that was just sort of like, let's just be crazy.
Spice it up, man.
Like they keep their wits about them.
Mm-hmm. Not taking it too seriously again.
My interpretation was they seemed like they were like extremely well liked people.
Yeah.
And that's why they were so successful, because people just liked them. Like people wanted to bring them on tour.
Right.
You were like, they were chill dudes you could just like hang out with.
Yeah.
And they're funny.
And they went through so many iterations of, this band in a way. And every single time it sounds like their connections just held up.
Yeah.
Because they were able to just like record a little demo and take it to the Sub Pop people. And they're like, yeah, we remember you. You guys play around. This is who we have to produce.
Right.
Great.
Pays to be nice, guys.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it does. Okay, now I'm going to No One Has. All right.
Oh, holy shit, man. This is my favorite one on the album.
Oh, I don't blame you.
It sounds the meanest, right? The
Yeah.
most like anarchist, like
They're just like going fucking crazy.
yeah, dude. Like the LA riots. This would be the soundtrack to it.
I like this song because it kind of, as hard as they're going, there's this element of like, I don't give a shit to it, which I think was the sentiment of like Gen X. But yeah, it just kind of reminds me of like just that the birth of like, it's cool to not care.
What's his name in The Breakfast Club? Bender.
This is like, I don't know, for my money, maybe like the most like fully formed song on the album. Because it's like the I don't care attitude is just like there with the drums and the guitar and everything. It's like very well formed.
It is.
And then his screaming and just having his scream go just over the edge of the instruments ending at the end is such a great way to end that too. They leave you with that scream for like the last second.
He's playing around with his fuzz settings too. It's like it sounds mid boosted.
Yeah,
a little more than the
artwork's
other tracks.
Really cool on that, and it's not. I think he repeats a chord progression, but he doesn't play the same chord like in the same place. He does like an octave.
Cool.
So that creates its own effects. So that could be part of where you're getting like the mids from. Is like he goes for like a higher E chord. I think all of them are fucking killing it.
Oh yeah, the bass is like driving.
Right? Like, he just comes in with a bass line, and you're like, oh, this is gonna fucking be killer. Are they putting reverb on the snare?
It sounds like there's some effects on it for sure. Oh, especially for like how fast he's hitting it too.
Yeah.
If I think.
Mm-hmm. That scream that he's got in there is like what, like 8 seconds, 9 seconds? That's insane.
It's a long scream. This is like perfectly placed on the album.
Yes.
I mean, everything is, but like this is like really. I mean, this hits in such a great way. The instrumental, the whole like instrumental like run at the end when they're sort of soloing, but they're also just kind of playing.
Yeah, it's like the 145, very like
Yeah.
happy.
It's
rock.
warm. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really warm in the
yeah.
context of like a pretty dark
Yeah.
album.
Yeah. They put it at the end too. I mean, it's not like a bridge part or anything. Like, it's just like they end the song on that, which is, I mean, you know, one of those things that like you just listen to a song and it's whatever, but in the studio, you're like, how did they fucking come up with that? Because it's like the perfect way to put it in the song.
That took me by surprise, that like warm run. Because I was like, that doesn't sound like any other chord progression in the album.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's very like joyous.
Not the serial
It's
killer
very
vibe he's
warm,
cultivating.
happy, like fuzzy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, the serial killers. And the lyrics aren't so
Insane.
dark either. What does he say? I opened my eyes, watched the sky turn blue. I felt so good, I almost forgot all about you.
Yeah, like is it a breakup song?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
celebrating.
What was it called again? If I
That's the
think.
joyous, happy chord progression part, and he's like, "I'm free."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm free, right now.
I mean, that's what he sings into the big instrumental ending.
Yeah.
So
What's the last one we got, Nate?
the last song on the album is "In and Out of Grace." Oh, dude.
Ooh, that feedback right at the end.
Feedback at the. It's a big ending. It's a big ending to a good album. 6-track album.
Wow, so good, man.
I think that was like one of the first tracks that I wanted to listen to like more than once.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, where I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I can listen to this like 3 or 4 times.
Did you want to like
Not get
emulate the
tired of
sound of it too, or you just it was just more just because you were like, this fucking rocks?
Well, it kind of reminds me of it's simultaneously like kind of like Stooges and also Elvis Costello.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's like a playfulness to it that I really appreciate about them. Push Came to Shove is probably my favorite song on the record.
Same. Yeah, I fucking love that song. Oh, and it opens with a quote from the movie The Wild Angels.
Peter Fonda, man.
Peter Fonda. Yeah. Have
you seen this?
I haven't seen it. I always thought that Easy Rider is like the like counterculture like kind of, but he started in this motorcycle movie 3 years before that, and Dennis Hopper was also attached to this, and Dennis Hopper directed Easy Rider and stuff. It's just it's a little side tangent that
It's cool. It's interesting.
I went down this like rabbit hole of like I didn't know that Peter Fonda was in another motorcycle movie, and apparently like this is the one that actually kicked off the whole motorcycle thing. But I mean, because the clip from the album or from the movie is so particular to the song.
Yeah.
Like
He's like, what? Let's get loaded.
yeah. I'm sure they like watch The Wild Angels and they're like, Peter Fonda fucking rocks, man. We gotta get him in. It's a Roger Corman film too, which is fantastic.
That guitar riff is so heavy.
Yeah. The guitar, the instruments on the song. I mean, because this thing, like you were saying, is 5.5 minutes long, and just all the instrumentals on it are so fucking good.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like you were saying earlier, the slow burn payoff.
Yeah.
Right there, that really nice, like, quieter... Like, there's still momentum in that quieter section, but it's this really nice build-up to, like, an explosive solo.
Yeah, and also I love the guitar playing on this record because it's not, like, going... Especially, like, the music of the day, where there was, like, all this, like, hair metal kind of stuff, and it was, like, maximalism, like, you need 1,000 notes.
Yeah.
All of that, it's just, like... It looks like you could picture him like he's not even playing notes, like he's just squeezing the fucking guitar and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And then even with like the movie quote intro, it still kind of feels light. Like even though it's a dark album, there's still like levity to it.
Yeah.
Like it still kind of feels like you're in the studio with them and you have the same inside jokes as them. There's like a
Yeah. It's like, come on in. Like, we'll show you some of our influences and stuff.
I feel like that's kind of hard to get to come across in an album sometimes.
Well, and I don't know about these guys, but I know that like a lot of that DIY scene too is like they had album making parties where they could get the albums pressed by somebody, but like the sleeves they had to make themselves. So they would like have people come over and like put all that there, and they would like put their phone numbers on it and stuff. Like they'd have all that packaged for you. That's got to be like such a special feeling. I don't know if Mudhoney did that, but I know that they like did that shit in the Washington scene and like in the Washington DC scene also.
Yeah, hell
in the 80s. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, sliding in and out of grace is a euphemism. Like Grace is a woman, is the name of a woman, not...
Dang.
Poor Grace.
And just Dan Peters, fantastic drumming on this whole fucking album.
Yeah.
It's good, dude.
Yeah.
It's good.
Drumming is so good.
I know.
Great rhythm section.
Yeah. So you would own this on vinyl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I should own it
I know,
on
right?
vinyl.
I'm sure, though. I mean, I bet you if you find it, even a used press of it is like $30 or something.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would
Surely.
be a little pricey.
Yeah.
I'd want to buy it like in a record store in Seattle where someone
Oh,
like,
how cool would that
tells
be,
me
man?
the story.
Like, I
Like,
bought
oh
him,
man,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
this at $50,
John
man.
Andino's my
Like-
neighbor. Yeah.
He signed it, but it got wiped off from my sweat, man.
I bought
Get a slice of Big Mario's pizza.
Yeah. I got Bleach at the Sub Pop store in the airport.
Oh, cool.
Sick.
And I was like, I feel like I have to do this.
Cool.
Yeah. That's such an exciting day when you buy that one.
I was like, I'm a real fan now. Would you own this on vinyl?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're all in agreement we would own this on vinyl. Yeah, so they release this, and then they become Sub Pop's flagship band. And Sonic Youth, like you were saying, takes them on tour. They wind up in the UK for 2 weeks, and that puts them on the UK indie charts at number 3.
Cool. It's pretty good.
Yeah, just by touring out there. They fucking loved them. They were quoted as saying like Sonic Youth took Dinosaur Jr. there on their previous tour, and Dinosaur Jr. blew up in the UK. And they were like gods at that point in time. Like Sonic Youth could do no wrong in England. This releases October 1st, 1988. It did not chart in the Billboard 200, but top 10 that week are, is it OU812 by Van Halen? How do you pronounce it?
What is it?
OU812 by Van Halen.
Oh, you
Yeah,
ate
that sounds right.
1, 2? You also ate one?
Oh, U812. Okay, I get it. It's a number 10.
That's some fancy guitar playing. The
Yeah.
guitar music of the day was
Oh my god, dude.
advanced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yeah, and then Kick by NXS is at number 9.
Can't picture how that one goes.
The whole album that's the one that has I Need You Tonight. 'Cause
Copy.
I'm not sleeping. Yeah, that's and then Bobby McFerrin's Simple Pleasures is at number 8,
Yeah.
24 weeks on the charts.
Nice.
Faith by George Michael.
Oh, okay.
Is at number 7, 46 weeks on the chart. That thing was
That's a long time.
huge. Yeah. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
There it is.
Nice.
At number 6, Roll With It by Steve Winwood is at number 5.
Yes, Steve Wynn went twice in this episode.
Yeah. The soundtrack to Cocktail is at number 4.
How many soundtracks are we getting?
Was
in these?
Cocktail 88?
It must have been. I mean, yeah, I know it's the 80s, and that's got it's got fucking Kokomo on it by the Beach Boys.
I love that song.
That's a really good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the music video just has Tom Cruise just like tossing all these. He's just like making all these drinks.
I met Russ Titleman when I was bartending. He produced Steve Winwood.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah, he was one of his producers.
Cool.
He he worked with George Harrison too.
2022. All right, your favorite artist at number 3,
Dr.
Tracy
Dog?
Chapman.
Ooh. Yeah, she was 3 in 88.
He's number in 88. Yeah, which I
Oh, that's such a good album.
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Isn't it a good album?
You don't like Tracy Chapman.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
just
you
not a
can-
Tracy Chapman
Yeah,
fan.
that's okay.
It's okay because at number 2, Def Leppard with Hysteria. Huh?
I'm into it.
That dude's missing an arm.
What?
Every time I hear Hysteria, I think of Muse.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
It is.
And then at number 1, of course, it's 1988, is Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
Of course.
Mhm.
58 weeks on the chart. Although
Wow.
Hysteria has it beat by a week. But, yeah. I mean, that thing was blowing the fuck up.
Yeah.
Also, maximalist guitar playing
Yeah.
Mhm.
from Slash, right? Like Slash was like the guitarist, like he was the
Yeah.
dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
this was...
Imagine defeating Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
Like, where's OU 812?
Number 10.
Yeah, like
And it's been on the charts for 16 weeks, and so Guns N' Roses has been like maintaining their.
Mm-hmm. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And then because then the grunge scene like kind of is the counter argument to the whole like Guns N' Roses thing of like.
very much so.
I mean,
yeah, it was like two different like universes of rock.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, like what Slash is wearing versus like your typical grunge guy, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's an unfair comparison because I think even though some of those bands are dubbed as like metal, they're pop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Guns N' Roses. I think it was
just
pop.
sort of like.
I'll tell you what.
It's unfair to compare underground.
Right.
bands.
And number 13 is Metallica. Where would you put them? Would you say like more on the metal side, or because there's people who are like metal?
I think Metallica was both. Like they kind of existed in both worlds, and they were such a big and important band. I think they were kind of like an institution unto their own, even really early. I think it was sort of like a rite of passage to be able to play certain Metallica songs.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that album. And then the next one they come out with is only the next year: Boiled Beef and Rotting Teeth in '89.
That's my McDonald's order. Dr. Dog. What the hell?
Fate by Dr. Dog.
Yeah, Fate. What do you know about Dr. Dog?
Not too much. I've listened to a little bit of Dr. Dog, and then they're your favorite band, so
They are.
that's where I've listened to more Dr. Dog in the last year. But what's their other album? What's the other really?
Shame.
I mean, I listened to her, earlier this year. That's fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
I like that one a little better than this one, but Fate is still a great album.
Yeah, I like Shame more, but Fate is, I don't know. I've never heard anything like it in my whole life.
Yeah.
Pete, Dr. Dog, what's going on?
Is it Old Ways?
Huh?
Like, I don't want to go back. The album before, We All Belong. To my old ways. I think
We All Belong.
Passed Away, Volume 1.
No, that's after this.
That's before this.
That's before Fate.
And then We All Belong is before that.
And then it's
My Old Ways. I think that was the first Dr. Dog song I heard.
Okay.
Really? Cool.
I think so. I had a friend who was from East Stroudsburg, I think, and she was pretty dialed into the Philly music scene. I think that was the first Dr. Dog song I heard.
Cool.
But my friend swore by Fate. She's like, "Oh, you got to check out this album." And then The Breeze was probably like my favorite song for like 11 years or something.
Yeah, this is a damn good record. My buddy from my hometown, Jacob Taylor, showed it to me.
Yeah.
Just randomly one day. There's this band called Dr. Dog. It's like, Dr. Dog.
Yeah.
Can you play it for me? The rest is history, dude.
Yeah.
This past year, my Spotify rap said I was in like the 0.02
0.02% of people
of the listening fans or whatever.
I got that for Beach House.
Oh, you got that for Beach House?
They're like, "Are you okay? You listen to other bands, right?"
No. They put it out under Park the Van Records, which is cool because they established that in 2004 only to release music by Dr. Dog, right?
Yeah.
That was like a, what is the word? It's like a...
Self-produced or what?
No, it's like a contraption just to funnel their music out to the world.
Right.
So then, Katrina happens, and they moved the studio to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They're the label. And they put it back in New Orleans in 2008. And once that happens, they discover Generationals, which we cover.
Oh, yeah.
Which is cool. And I used to live in New Orleans. And I never actually went to where they had this place. But Generational sings a bunch about like places in New Orleans. It's just cool to hear like places you recognize in songs. This album is dubbed as indie rock, Americana, neo-psychedelia, chamber pop. So yeah, this is their 5th album, right before it's Passed Away, Volume 1. There's no other volumes. I think they should do a Volume 2 of Passed Away.
I think it's a cool idea to just throw out Volume 1, and then somewhere in there you have to do Volume 2. There's a reason why it's a Volume 1, though. It's like a collection, of old tapes and demos.
It's like the Oddman's King Gizzard album, just random
exactly,
shit.
yeah.
And then they follow that by Shame Shame. There's no covers, it's all just original tracks.
Yep.
They recorded this at Meth Beach in Philly. It was mixed at The Studio in Philly, and they mastered it at Sterling Sound in Edgewater, New Jersey.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool. I'm gonna wait for the siren to go by. There's no frontman, it's just Toby Lehman and Scott McMicken. They're the co-frontmen. Mm-hmm. You know, they switch off on songs. Every album is like Scott will sing it, and then Toby sings it next. Every time. Super wholesome. They started playing music together in 8th grade. Yeah. And they stated, they never wanted to play covers. Instead, they wanted to write all their own stuff, which is pretty cool. I know I was jamming to some classic rock in my bedroom a little too much. Mm-hmm. So in an interview, they say it's just a chance occurrence. There's not really a good story. One time, Toby and Scott were working together, and Scott had a drawing and crossed out the A, and it said Dr. Wing. And I think Scott suggested that as a band name, then Toby said, how about Dr. Dog? So the album cover is a direct reference of Bonnie and Clyde. Yep. It's a photo of a it's like cloth sewn together, and it's done by Chicago native Ken Ellis.
Yeah, so it's like it's a painting, and then they've sewed in on all of the edges.
Yeah, correct.
In the painting,
it's all made of cloth, but it looks like some kind of oil. It's so cool, it's man. Cool. It is so cool.
It's very cool.
When the members of Dr. Dog saw the painting at Chicago's Rainbow Club, that's where Ellis bartended, they quickly bought it from him, and they used it as the album cover because they thought it fit with the general aesthetic of the album. It does. Like the color scheme.
100%.
Yeah.
It's so nice. There's a ton of people that do stuff on this album. The core members, Toby Lehman, he plays bass and sings. Scott McMicken, vocals and guitar and sometimes piano. Mm-hmm. Frank McElroy is another guitar player, and he sings a lot of backup vocals. And Zach Miller plays keyboards.
Yep.
And then Justin Stenz plays drums. And they all sing. They're all singing all the time.
Mm-hmm. Great vocals on this album.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the backup vocals are so well done.
When they started as Raccoon.
That's right.
Different band. And it's just kind of a thing that like Mudhoney kind of has in common.
Mm-hmm.
Like within the episode.
And the first thing ever released is the Psychedelic Swamp, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, because that's just like spare recordings from Overtime that the two of them did while in that band. Yeah, which is.
But then they re-release it like so many years in the future as Dr. Dog, that's cool.
It was cool.
That's a great album.
I thought it was like a new album.
I did too. I
was like, wait.
No, that's some old shit they're playing.
Yeah, that's like their original thing. Yeah. Just for background, like leading up to this album, they did that, and then they put out their second album, and then Jim James from My Morning Jacket knew them, had them go on tour, like knew them from when they were in Raccoon. Had them go on tour opening for My Morning Jacket, and then that just like threw them like up to the next level, much like Mudhoney with Sonic Youth. And this got them noticed by National Parking, the label National Parking. Yeah. And so that led them up to that, and then they put out Fate only a few months after Pass Away Volume 1. And it was, at that time, it was their most polished album. Because they were talking about like being influenced on the road by My Morning Jacket and stuff, and being like, we can polish our stuff up even more and get it more like set in stone and in order too on the album and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think this is self-produced. I don't know if you found a producer. I couldn't find a producer, but it feels. I mean, that their previous stuff had been produced by themselves, and I don't know why.
I think T. William Moriarty helped them with it, but it was more or less like they're just going in there and doing that shit.
Okay,
dude, it's so hard with Dr. Dog. They have like so much gear that they're always going through. But at this time, I watched a bunch of live performances, and Scott, he's playing an Epiphone Sheraton 2 in a nice sunburst. But it's like nothing is documented on what they used to write the album with.
Yeah.
Frank is playing an Epiphone Casino, and Toby built his bass from a bunch of Stumac parts and he's only ever played the same bass that he built for like 20
cool.
years. He had an old cheap P bass or jazz bass or something that got stolen, so he had to build something.
Cool.
And Scott's always like, man, you gotta try something else out, Toby. And he's just, nah, dude, this is my bass.
Yeah.
He likes it because it has the super thin neck. He named it Tony. Right? Like Tony.
Nice.
Sometimes he plays a Guild D40 acoustic guitar and some of their acoustic songs. Yeah, play me some stuff.
Dude, so The Breeze.
So there was like some mythology about the band. I don't know if it's true or not. That like the way that they record, because they record analog, they kind of have to like get the takes perfectly. So to me, Dr. Dog was like kind of like this mythological band. Like, oh, they like sing like perfect harmonies, and like their albums are analog, so they have to like get it really right on the tape, because you can't just like edit it like you do in Pro Tools.
Right.
So I never tried to research that. I just want to keep them as that in my brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, just listening to this record now, so many years after it's come out, it still holds up like so well, so beautifully, and it kind of feels like an album that exists out of time.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, that doesn't scream 2008 to me.
No, dude, no.
No, it's pulling a lot from. I mean, there's a lot of me listening to this and being like, oh, it's the some '60s kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like we covered All a Loss, and that's like it's kind of like stuck in the '60s a little bit, and this is like just jumping around and like pulling from. I hear a lot of the Beatles on this, but I hear like ELO too, which is more '70s and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I agree.
like there's a lot of different stuff that is like it's like just they're really good at like pulling from some sound, but also maintaining their own sound in the same track. They're like really good at that. There's a lot of bands who I don't like Mudhoney is just making their own thing, but these guys are like, I really hear a lot of their influences while they're just keeping their spin on it.
As a contrast coming from Mudhoney, I think it kind of feels stark because this album starts so clean.
Yeah.
Like it does go to dirty places. Like you do get that New Orleans.
Right.
Like it does happen, but yeah, it's so clean and pristine.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful start to the album. It's super gentle. It's really melancholy.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking when the first time I heard those harmonies that, I actually thought Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young versus like Beatles or Beach Boys. There are Beatles moments and Beach Boys moments, but and you said ELO, and I was thinking about how Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and ELO are both. You could not have been a musician in that time and not been influenced by the Beatles.
Right.
But yeah, there's something cool about that because there is a 60s element, there's a 70s, there's a little bit of 80s on this record, and it is being created in the early 2000s, which was like such a unique time.
Yeah.
Because music was being transformed by the internet and the way that people listen to it. So they kind of like snuck in like right before things got lame.
Yes.
And also, it's also like the lack of guitar on the album too really puts because they're a rock band, and so I just assumed there would be more guitar on it, especially after listening to Shame. But
I love the way this album is made through the keyboard, like through the pianos.
Yeah,
like this whole album.
It's like some silly little like
piano.
Upright piano, like a parlor piano.
Yeah, there's like a saloon kind of.
Yes,
like,
exactly, dude. It's like Bonnie and Clyde's dream or some weird shit that they have going on. They always add in all these nice little weird sounds. We hear the first train noise at the end.
Yeah, what did you think about that as like the train?
Well, it's a recurring theme. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's like you're on this like with the Bonnie and Clyde tapestry, and then it's like you're going to this place way far back when, but it's not the sound of the place, but it's the feel.
Yeah, I think the orchestral pop designation comes from like those really beautiful warm flutes at the beginning of that. I think that's sort of. I think they do that justice too, because sure, the Beatles did that. Sure, Sufjan Stevens was doing that at the time, but I don't really hear it. Like I hear them. Like when I hear that,
that's Dr. Dog.
Dr. Dog,
unmistakable.
I'm not like, oh, that's the flute from Paul McCartney. They own that.
It's also a good starting track just lyrically because this sounds like they're talking about like universal truths of just living life, and this song is very much just in discussion with living life and death, like being an impending thing in life. And I feel like the train is also like a good tracker in there too, because train rides are a beginning and an end. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's all, I feel like that they're opening this thing up really well musically and lyrically, and it's going to pay off by the end of it because they've clearly thought it out. All right, do you want to do Hang On?
Cool. What do y'all think? Hang On.
Oh, it's another really good song on the album.
Tell them what you were saying, what you think that noise is, like the that brings the whole band in.
Well, I was thinking it kind of sounds like when you have a room mic, or when you're miking up a kit, and like maybe you have one under the snare, and it captures like ambient sound. Like it kind of sounds like that to me, where it's like it was like a transient, which most people would edit out immediately. But they were like, no, that actually sounds pretty cool. And I think they like kept it or even took it from somewhere else and plugged it in.
It feels like they purposefully have it in there to then transition into the next part. Yeah.
Sounds weird.
They found it in there and they're like, you know what? Like maybe they were having a tough time figuring out what would transition it. And then they were like, what if we did this weird sound like we picked up earlier?
Portal?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's what it freaking sounds like. They got some slide guitar on here, which is really nice.
That slide is so cool. The bass is killer on the song.
It's leading. It is leading the whole band like phrase to phrase. Yeah. It is so nice.
Once they bring in that slide in there,
it pops. It pops,
really
man.
Fucking good. I'm really noticing it. Whereas if they had just had guitar on here before, I would have still appreciated it, but probably not as much.
It's just a little bit. He's not overplaying. It's just like little sprinkles in there, you know.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, in the later section, like they're accenting 2 and 3 for most of the song. They switch it to accenting 1 and 3, beats 1 and 3 for like just a second. But then they go back to accenting 2 and 4, and it's really subtle and kind of like that's like the noise again, but in a different medium, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was hoping that was going to come into the conversation. I like the way that you introduced it because it's the first thing that I noticed about Dr. Dog when I first started listening to them is they do this like syncopation thing that allows them to like exist in this groove always.
Yes, dude.
Rhythmically, you could come in on like any part of the note and it sounds slick and smooth. And it is the bass and it is the percussive element of like the keys, like just like driving where you could just put a guitar in and just be like, oh, wow. It's just like say everything you want to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I love them about that. I love that about them. They're so slick. That's the benefit of this being their 5th album.
Exactly.
It's like they trust each other. They understand their chemistry. They know what they can and can't do, and they're trying to push those limitations. But they're staying true to the song
and themselves.
Like, we just want to like create a good record.
Yeah. Feeds back into the whole thing of like being their most polished record at this point. Paul McCartney and Wings vibes.
Dude, I have so many notes on that.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking Wings for sure.
Yeah.
I knew we'd be talking to them at some point.
Next up is The Old Days. Wow, what a good song.
That saloon piano. I mean, we're all saying it, but the saloon style like piano. And the little cymbal hits in there too and stuff, you know, it's all of a piece.
At the beginning, Scott, and he's kind of like away from the mic and he goes, yeah. That's great, dude. I love that part.
Yeah, I think I think all the parts on this song are so good. But yeah, the piano work is like that's the advanced rhythmic stuff. Because to pull off a piano sound like that, that's like advanced syncopation.
Yeah.
Everything else like feels easy. Like that bass line could live in your head easily. All the melodies that they're using are great there, but it's like that song couldn't exist without the piano.
Sure.
Oh yeah. It sets the mood.
And then still the drums are doing the choo-choo rhythm. Yeah. So they're still keeping that like rhythmic theme, even though they're expanding on it.
Again, I mean the guitar in here just shines so because strong. They're being paid. I think I like the guitar even better on this song too.
It's good. That's such a melodic solo.
Yeah, it is.
There's a nice hit in the middle, and the piano has that chromatic like fall down.
Yeah.
And that's when everything they like play it in double time, that same theme.
And
they're just yelling and like, just like it feels really happy, you know. Like they're having a great time, you know. Holy shit! How much fun would that be to be in that room, you know, while they're recording that? or the background vocals at the very end as the guitar solo is fading out. They change it up a lot, but it gets a little bit more like it's like an interesting counter melody.
Anybody that had a great idea was strongly encouraged. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds rad, dude. Let's lay that down over here.
Yeah.
They're all like cheering each other on.
Yeah, dude, slap your thighs in that part real quick.
Yeah.
You know, it's so good. Really well placed.
All of these songs are
I know, it's a perfect progression.
Yeah.
Now we have Army of Ancients. That's been one of my favorite songs of all time, guys.
Oh yeah, Army of Ancient.
Yeah, dude, it's good. They start with it sounds like someone's walking in a big empty room to sit down in the chair to play the organ, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
and just the piano.
Yeah, really well mixed.
Oh, dude,
yeah, all the sound is like placed in certain. Listen to this on headphones.
You got
like,
to. You
there's,
got
like,
to.
stuff like it feels like it's behind you a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's in 3/4.
Uh-huh.
The strings come in on the and of 1 as the major seventh in the chord, and it gives it. This is so like every little thing they're doing is so perfect.
Yeah.
I love how the strings serve the song. It's like there's this grand story that they're telling, and the violins are like taking you along on it.
Mm-hmm. Like arm in arm.
Well, both of you were like, were like physically like pointing it out. Yeah.
The bass line is perfect. Like that is the most perfect bass line in this song.
They have like guitar like in like the way back at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in like some cathedral with him playing this or something.
And then he's got his like James Brown style like shrieks that he's doing in there,
dude. And then Frank and Scott do the little backup vocals while Toby's yelling.
Yeah,
It's great. The chorus is great. Like they swell up. It ascends with the vocals and then descends with the instruments.
Gotcha. Yeah,
which I think is really well done and constructed really well. Oh, at the very end, it's like old-timey radio static. Like if you recorded a radio static with a super old ribbon mic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Toby has a quote. He says, that song, Army of Ancients, is about complacency. When a person or a culture stops caring and their mind shuts off. This leaves people very open to making awful decisions. When other people think and act for you, you become a breeding ground for the most base and carnal afflictions, vanity, greed, laziness. These are the themes of Aesop, folklore, and parables. Holds up the theme of like little childhood folklore. The horns at the very end just kind of like start to jumble away slowly. Just it's good. It's like every time I listen to this album, each song has something new that I never thought about. Mm-hmm. It just kind of pops out in my face every single listen.
Which is kind of funny because it's like so brilliantly mixed and the arrangements are so good.
10 out of 10. I love this song.
We got the rabbit, the bat, and the reindeer.
Oh my god.
That's my I think second favorite on the album.
It's so good.
And it's such a fucking good song too. I feel like this would normally be my favorite song on an album, but the album's so good that this is just my second favorite. Like
I think if I were to show someone their first Dr. Dog song ever, it would be this song.
Oh, this would be a great one to introduce. I was thinking as you were playing it, I was like, oh, probably gonna listen to the album. Mm. She'll probably hear this song and be like, "Oh, this is so good." The chords during the "Man You Ain't Like," and they like go down, "Man You," like, they go. That's like just in my head. That little part right there is so imprinted in there. It's so good.
The drums, the bass, it's like everything in the song really complements each other.
Yeah,
super well. Everyone's working together really nice. Mm-hmm. That pizzicato violin.
I don't even know how they pull it off. I've tried to do that in songs before, like the pizzicato, and it just like didn't translate. It's not just like, oh, let's put a violin in there because we're an indie rock band, like at all. Mm-hmm. Like they're on like a whole other level of.
They were well prepared, like to put that in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it goes to that section where it's just the violins, and it ascends, like it's like climbing like steps but going back. It's the arrangement of these strings is just like how are you even thinking of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And then the drums come in with that really nice beat that really highlights what the violins are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like he has like a t-shirt over the snare. Like he's just kind of like just like dry, like just sort of like we don't need any special effects.
yeah.
I mean, that is your special effect right there.
It's a practical effect.
Yeah.
His vocal melody is fantastic in the whole song, too.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, in the whole album, the vocal melody is always really good.
Yeah, I love those lyrics.
Yeah, it sounds like he's singing about like being lied to by a friend. I think maybe he's even being lied to by somebody who's trying to sell themselves to you as a friend, like a politician or something.
I saw them. They were talking about this song in an interview, and Toby, he's talking about it, and he goes, "It's Scott's song, though I can say it is about a year inside a crumbling relationship. Mm-hmm. The rabbit, the bat, and the reindeer are holidays: Easter, Halloween, and Christmas." A lot of the songs have lyrics setting two scenes or ideas against each other, with one nullifying the other, kind of call and response.
That's really good. That's really good songwriting.
Oh, and at the very end, everything is fading out but a tambourine, the acoustic guitar, drums, and bass. And Scott whispers, "Should we pretend?" And then hand claps kind of like get in volume, and they slide it right into the next track.
Yeah, the arc.
Get those hand claps going in here. Wow, what a good song. It's like a refreshing, spooky, dark song that I didn't know I needed or wanted.
They still do the beautiful harmonies as the bridge. So even if it's like dirty, tones and minor key, you still get like the major key, like beautiful sort of the clouds part and there's blue skies.
What are the like happy together, the Turtles song?
Yeah.
His guitar tone is so sick. I couldn't find what pedals he was using, but it's dirty. It's mean, dude.
I mean, the instrumentation on this whole album is great, but like the way that they do it on this song, because they changed the tempo and stuff a lot, and they like really mess around on this song with very different sections of it,
Toby's screaming some lyrics again.
Yeah,
it's great.
He's doing the screaming again. It's
great.
Great.
Oh, some like distorted sounding organ in the back, which I really like.
A Wurlitzer or something.
Yeah.
They got that whirly in there.
On the King Gizzard album, they had a song that discussed how there's like no real meaning to life, even if you like make your own, but technically there still isn't one, and like dealing with that. And this song is the same, like kind of dealing with the same thing. Yeah, where it's like you can just keep building things on yourself in a way, but technically you're always fooling yourself a little bit.
Yeah, it's a brave thing to tackle.
I mean,
it is. Oh my God.
All these songs are touching on like life and death and meaning and stuff in one way or another. So they kind of like go right at it on this one, but it's a great song. This is it's another really good song.
Up next we got From. Dude, they constructed that song really well.
Yeah.
Something I really like about this song, that they don't do it as much in the rest of this album, but in their career, they do it a lot.
Yeah.
The drummer it's like a, I don't even know the name of it, but he starts the fill and it ends on beat 2, right? So it feels like it's like shifted back or forward. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Definitely.
It is such an interesting choice that it's only on like this song on this album, but then they do it live all the time, and it's just a really cool choice that I think makes this song kind of stand out and shine above a lot of the others on the album.
Each one of them is such an incredible musician in their own right, so they're bringing so much to the table. So it's just sort of like, I can imagine when they're writing the songs, like they're just writing the guitar parts, like they're just writing the keys or whatever.
Yeah.
And like everybody else is like just allowed to do whatever they want.
Yes.
And so it's like, you can feel that when a band's like, when the members of a band wrote their parts.
Yes, man, absolutely.
Real nice crooning intro on this. Real nice. It's keeping the album like diverse.
Yeah,
like I'm not going into this song like I've heard this already. Like I'm going in like, all right, this is more of whatever they got for me. Like
what's in the Dr. Dog bag?
Yeah.
They're really pulling out like the gospel feel on this song too. Like his vocal melody.
They've got a lot of like great backing vocals too.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, they're so crisp and just shimmery. Like that freaking guitar solo in the middle, guys. That is what I've been like. That's what I've been waiting.
The guitar solo is great. The guitar solo is fantastic.
They make me wait just long enough in the album for something like that. It is in the right spot, in the right song. Oh man, it's a great tone, super melodic. No one is ever overplaying ever.
Yeah,
in this band ever.
Yeah, lyric wise, I was like, this is about disillusionment with God I don't know. That was my best guess. Yeah.
At the end, there's a little train whistle. It sounds like it was recorded with like some super old mic from some radio or something.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Up next, we have 100 Years.
100 Years. Interesting ending, like with the vocals.
No, the piano just bump.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Like Mudhoney, the instruments cut out and there's just a little leftover vocals.
Yeah. Yeah, except on that one, it's like sharp. That is like
yeah, in your face.
This one it's got a sort of Tom Waits kind of style intro, but with Dr. Dog vocals.
Dude, he comes up in every episode we have ever recorded.
He's universal. What can I say?
Yeah, I would be shocked if there were some members of Dr. Dog who love Tom Waits.
Oh yeah, especially with the piano.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that just like the drums with the piano, I was like, oh, this is a little. I mean, it goes away from that, but but it starts out in that zone. This would, I think, either seeing this open a show or they do like 4 fast songs in a row, and then like lights go down and you go into something like this. I think this is like, but this definitely like has the presence of like I would love to see this live.
The background vocals on this song. Do you guys listen to this in headphones or a speaker?
Headphones.
Yeah, they like. I feel like they're like swirling around my head. Yeah, and it's like this really cool counter melody. Yeah, I mean it's like the energy is low, but it's not boring.
No, this is a pretty driving song. I mean, those drums are very driving behind it too,
especially at the end.
Constantly there.
It's a great like middle album song. I think it might be my least favorite on the album, but it's still like a masterpiece of a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like the crazy one now. Like, what does the train mean? What is it? You know, like I'm like going down like that theme rabbit hole. Like you guys lost me. There's just like all these different things and like red yarn. I'm like, all right, he says get off at the train stop here. But then, you're
drawing on Nate's walls, dude.
It's the Charlie Day.
Yeah, exactly. I got boxes full of Pepe. But yeah, I think I like the idea that it's 100 years, but he's not singing about the past. He's singing about the future and being regretful.
Mm-hmm.
And in the lyric, "Oh, this year's for the brakeman," which is what pulled me back into the train theme again. I'm like losing it. But yeah, he says like he'll get off at a certain stop and marry her, and so I was just kind of thinking like the idea of the train itself being like a symbol of life, like you get on and you
that's
get
what I'm
off
gathering
and like starts
too.
and stops, and so I think that is sort of why I think I was so fascinated by it as like a symbol and as like a motif because it can mean so many things.
Yeah, and
it is a very driving album. And I think they come at it from, like you said, like there's fables, there's biblical stuff. I'm interpreting that as like kids songs and like childlike wonder, but he's also singing about like relationships.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's all coming together and you don't feel like there's any kind of redundancy. And I feel like that's really hard to pull off.
Yeah.
You're like, you would sound like a crazy person. Like, yeah, we're going to sing about like roosters and regret. And
there's a train in like half of the songs. right. Hardly any guitar.
You'd sound like a crazy person.
I mean, the life and death theme is right there with this song too. So it feels like it's all in its own universe. It's very in tandem with itself. It's great though. It's not like self-mythologizing really at all. It's kind of like they've just like taken you by the hand and been like, you're just gonna go down this whole album and you're gonna enjoy it.
Uncovering the old. So it starts with the clock, but they fade out the ticking like pretty quickly after all the instruments come in.
They do, yeah. I
mean, a good choice. I don't want to hear that.
They could be in danger of just
some
reminding
Floyd.
you of Pink Floyd. Yeah.
I like it though. I like that they're like, let's do it anyway.
They're doing their own thing, dude.
Yeah.
There's a nice staccato lead guitar part with some little delay on there that I really like. Oh, the chorus is fantastic. It feels really full. It has a nice sound.
It sounds like 2 violins like dancing around each other.
Yeah, right when his vocals come in at the start too, I was getting a little bit of Arcade Fire. Kind of goes away. It's its own thing. But yeah, I think just right when they come in, I was like, oh, he sounds a lot like Win Butler. Yeah.
There's a part where everything cuts out, but it's just Scott singing with the harmonies and the drums that I like. It's a nice little break in the middle of the song.
I do really love the harmonies on this song. Obviously, the whole album is filled with incredible, unbelievable
These stand out. They're good.
But yeah, the harmonies on the song, I'm like,
yeah.
The strings kind of elevate the vocals. It's great.
And at the end, the strings just kind of, like you said, they're just dancing. And it just fizzles out. It's like, it goes all the way up.
Yeah.
It's like
maybe it goes
really
down.
talented string players like having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like best friends sitting on a porch playing fiddle or something like that.
They're like, oh, you got that idea? I got this idea.
Yeah, watch out.
It's just like call and response.
This is a great song. I think this is my least favorite on the album.
That's it's saying a lot because it's a great song.
Right, exactly.
Like, maybe I would have cut this one from the record. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think it's in here perfectly too. But I have to pick. If there's something that I think I felt like the least connected to, I think it was this one. But it's still, I mean, I wish we had this on one of our records. Like that's it's such a good song still.
You want to hear the beach?
It's the beach.
Dude, when they want to play a guitar solo, that shit is mapped out and so particular.
It is.
He is highlighting the chord tone of every chord so well in this run.
He goes so hard into it that it feels like the song's gonna fall apart. Like, that's how,
he's it's staggering.
Yeah. Yes.
That bottle of bourbon's dry as a bone. I love doing his solo.
That sort of staggering sound gives me like Modest Mouse kind of very dry.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. I think Isaac Brock's a really brilliant songwriter. So if someone compared my songwriting to his, I'd be like, thank you.
Oh man. A show between the two of those, Modest Mouse and Dr. Dog would probably be a very like crossover kind of show.
Isaac Brock is such a good guitarist. It's crazy.
Yeah. Have you seen, because I saw them live. I think he's just getting older. I think that's what it is. But he just stood there. He didn't do anything the whole show. He just stood there playing his guitar. And it was fun to watch him solo and stuff, but he didn't put any spin on it. He just kind of solo.
Here's another one for you.
This song is really about death too.
Mm-hmm.
It's always impending death. Well, and he has lyrics say about the shore, or sorry, the water washing up onto the beach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's some sounds at the beginning, super echoey footsteps, but then some weird machine noises, almost like he's pulling something up on an old ship.
Yeah.
The imagery in this song is super vivid.
Yeah, it is.
And you wouldn't know it if you were just looking at the liner notes and you see a song called The Beach. Oh, that's gonna be
some poppy surf rock or something.
It's gonna be
right.
It's gonna be a day at the beach.
The bass line is great. It's muddy and dirty.
The bridge, all they'll carve our names like scripture to the soles of their feet.
Mm-hmm.
Every footprint that they take, it will tell of our deed. And it's what are they saying?
And then he screams again. It's crazy.
I don't know what their deed was, but it doesn't sound good.
Oh, what's the part he's we'll creep into your window and smother your dreams. Oh, that organ pops out here and there, which is really nice.
It's so dramatic.
I know. It's those old 1920s or 30s movies. Oh, at 1 minute 50 seconds, the guitar slips the band into a major key, but it's just for a second, dude. Oh, that is so tasty.
Yeah, I love how musical of a band they are, because they're they could just be dudes wearing sunglasses, harmonizing.
Every song is just kind of. I don't know. It's just
this
the best lyrics, the best musical.
It's all really well examined. How long did they even have to write this? That's that's what I'm wondering. While listening to this whole thing,
I thought I read somewhere that they recorded it across 3 months, but I could be way off on that.
Okay, that could be enough time to really dive into each song, especially if you're not working a job or anything.
Next song, My Friend.
I think the ELO reference too, is also sort of we listen to Jeff Lynne, sue us.
But and by the time that they hit the don't give it up, I've forgotten that they even did that, because they're they're just dropping something in, but they're keeping it with what they do. Yeah. That is a great album ender.
It is. I just think they should have split So where the transition starts at 2 minutes 13 seconds,
Yeah.
that should have been like a new song.
It should be another track on the album.
In my
It should
opinion.
be a medley between two songs. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering like philosophically what they felt, why they.
Well,
needed-
it's I didn't write it down, but somewhere it's like this song is about it's the only song where they both like have leads vocal parts, like Toby and Scott. And the song is supposed to be about like their differing opinions in spirituality in the afterlife.
right. Yeah.
So maybe they just kept it as one song to.
Okay, that was what I wrote down in my
to
notes.
be true to yeah.
You're
So
right.
The lyrics are in conversation with each other.
Yeah.
'Cause they're about worrying about death all the time, and the other person being like, "You don't need to because of spirituality and stuff, or religion, or whatever." And then it kind of ends on its own note of being like, either way, you gotta just kind of live and have fun. But they're both having a conversation there, and that's where I'm like, I guess it's one song because they're trying to like have two tones for two different points of view.
Right, it's like you get on the station with Scott and that transition, or whoever sings first, and in that transition you go to the next station, you're with the next person because that train noise is in the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, like there's like something there, but but then at the same time, like logistically, don't you want to split those up because they are two different songs,
Right,
pretty
and
much,
it follows
yeah.
the pattern of the album of like switching off
right?
song by song vocally, but I mean it's a great album ender. That's my
Perfect.
It
Yeah.
is.
it's so
Thematically.
fucking good.
Thematically, yeah.
Yes.
I think that's the perfect.
Ends with the
It is.
train and the horn. It's the only time the train hoots the horn on the whole
Oh, really?
album.
Oh yeah, no, it's the train whistle.
The
It's
whistle,
not the
yeah.
horn.
Yeah.
The only time on the whole album as it like pulls away. And it pans super hard right in the headphones. The train whistle.
Oh, like I was just saying, like it's like going away from you.
Yeah.
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 'Cause you
Which is
die.
just nice. It's just
Yeah.
cool.
I do love the confrontation of like the deepest part of it, the death, like the acceptance of death.
Mhm.
Knowing now that it's both of them kind of disagreeing with each other, the transition makes a lot more sense,
Right.
Because it's a musical argument.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm like, oh yeah, that's why it feels so juxtaposed and feels a little bit
Right.
angular compared to how smooth the whole album has been, because yeah, they're like honestly taking on the challenge of confronting the bigger
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, and in not splitting those up between two tracks, they are kind of because every time I hear that song, I think to myself like, why wouldn't they split it up? And they're even starting a conversation here about it too. Whereas if they'd split it up, I think we all would have just kind of accepted it. I
Yeah.
think instead we have to talk about it. And
Yeah.
then I have to examine the lyrics. And now I know why they did it that way. And you know,
And
it's
I-
not,
Precisely.
Out of every album they have ever put out, this is the only song in their entire discography where they both have lead vocals.
right.
Yeah, Scott uses, Fate has a funny way of coming around, but it's like a warmer part of the song. So
Yeah,
I like how it's like
exactly.
ominous in the beach, but in this song, it happens in a more hopeful kind of moment.
I mean, I think we all would own this on vinyl.
No doubt about it.
This came out, but it was this is their highest charting record to date.
Even more than Shame Shame?
Mhm.
Interesting.
I don't know if Shame Shame charted, but anyways, but this came out, and then to promote it, they went on Conan, they went on Fallon, they went on Craig Ferguson, he had such a good show. They toured with the Cave Singers and the Golden Boots.
God, I love the Cave Singers.
So this debuts at A6. August 2nd, 2008 is the first chart that they're on. Yeah, because this thing gets released in June, like June 22nd, I want to say 2008. Number 10 on the charts that week is Good Girl Gone Bad by Rihanna. And then we got the Beautiful Eyes EP by Taylor Swift. First week on the charts, it's at number 9. See, now she's just number 1, The Greatest Story Ever Told by David Banner.
I don't really know any of this
I have
stuff.
No idea.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, you know this one. Life, Death, Love, and Freedom by John Mellencamp.
I do know that one. Was that in his Cougar era?
No, he's just John Mellencamp.
Just John Mellencamp.
Yeah,
That's a
he
cougar.
dropped the Cougar. Rock and Roll Jesus by Kid Rock.
Was 6?
Was number 6.
Wow.
Yeah. The Camp Rock soundtrack is number 5. Camp Rock? I don't know.
I don't know.
Viva La Vida or Death and All His Friends by Coldplay, number 4.
Nice.
That thing was huge. It was
That's what they said.
the Mamma Mia soundtrack. Number 3.
Just
saw that thing re-released
It's good?
in theaters. Dude, what a great movie.
I never seen it.
That movie's so much fun. ABBA, dude. They're great. The Carter 3 by Lil Wayne is at number 2. We covered another album where this was charting too. We have another 2008
I thought you were about to
album.
say the Carter Family. I got so excited.
No, they're all dead.
Undiscovered records,
Yeah. Oh,
barn tapes.
I wish, dude. Johnny Cash makes it back into here whenever something of his gets released. And then Untitled by Nas. Is at number
Cool.
1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's good.
one of the OGs. Cool. What's and then their next album is Shame Shame.
That's right. God,
Yeah.
go listen to Shame Shame. That is so good.
These are both great albums. I don't know if they're necessarily in conversation with each other.
What, with Mudhoney?
Yeah.
There's a couple
I think the fact that they're pulling from
musical
a lot of
things.
like you can see a lot of musical influence in both albums.
Yeah. I mean, they both talk about death.
Well, one of them is like talking about death in a human experience way, and one of them's talking about being a serial killer.
Different angles. Different approaches.
Yeah.
I think if I'm Sub Pop and I'm Park the Van, the same kind of like fringe subculture kind of
Sure.
Crowd in '88 is that version in 2008, where you're pitching to audiences that have more unique taste.
Right.
So I think there's a relationship between those albums in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's that like you would have been listening to alternative rock if you were born in this year. You were listening to indie rock, and different similar artists were all like exploding at the same time. Like I said before, it was like Grizzly Bear, and there were so many, an Animal Collective. There were so many other bands that were their contemporaries that were like essentially like DIY underground musicians who just like became like supernovas.
Yeah.
So it's cool that era, like they have this sort of artifact from that era to be really proud of. Because there was a lot of stuff going on. Some of it holds up and some of it doesn't. But this one holds up for sure.
This holds up.
I think it will continue to hold up for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully Mudhoney's finally getting their day in the sun. I hope they're killing it on this tour.
Yeah. They seem to always be having a good time. So
when this episode drops, this one's scheduled for end of the year, right?
No, we're gonna push it up.
Oh,
no,
this
we'll
one's-
push everything.
yeah.
We're just pushing everything up.
So there's probably one. There's gonna be one ahead of you.
So yeah, I would say Pon Farr. Pon Farr is putting out a record June 7th. So I'm not sure when
Nice.
this drops, but definitely give that a listen.
What's
I'm
it
really
called?
proud of my bass lines. And
So
then
that'll be out by the time this comes out either way. But
Waterfall Strainer. Definitely check out Waterfall Strainer. We're putting out some new songs and a new album in the fall.
Sick.
And then Idaho Green dropped a double album we released in August of last year, which is like over 12 years of songs. It's 30.
Wow.
It's like 33 songs.
wow.
And yeah, it's just sort of something we're really proud of. It's called Gems in the High Plains. And yeah, we're going into the studio in August, so we're going to put out more stuff too. So just,
Cool.
stay
Just working.
aware of Idaho Green, because we're going to be putting out some really cool rock and roll again soon.
Next week
You
we've
good?
got The Stranger and what's
By Billy Joel.
by Billy Joel and
Oh,
Dive.
and then Is the Is Are by Dive.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
That's so rad.
Yeah.
I can't wait to listen to all
The-
these. Oh, it's called Little Grains. Sorry.
Little
The name of
Grains.
The name of the album is Little Grains.
Cool.
As a band, we learned that song last.
Little
So I
Grains
don't
by
associate
who
it.
was it?
Pon Farr.
By Pon Farr.
And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Dude.
Oh,
thanks for
dude,
being
Pete,
here.
holy shit.
Wow,
Thank
it
you
was
for your
a
time.
Genuine pleasure, man. You were a
Likewise.
lot of fun to record.
Yeah,
with.
dude. Yeah, it was.